Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Dr. Brothers, thank you for being here today and for your testimony. Following up on Congressman Loudermilk's line of questioning there on the Inspector General's report that found the failure of TSA to find the mock explosives in the banned weapons over 95% of the time. So since that occurred and the analysis that was generated from that, if another, say, mock test was done today, what would be different?
I believe the results would be different, but I think this type, it'd be good to get back with the classified discussion of some of the changes, if you like, that have been made.
Are you confident there would be a different outcome if that was done today?
I believe there would be a different outcome, yes.
And in terms, I know there was a reference earlier, and by the way, I'd love to have a follow-up on that
Sure.
to learn more about that and what's occurred with the new technology. There was a reference earlier about drones, and I guess thinking about how we balance drones and the technology with the private sector and letting them innovate and expand and privacy rights and also security. Can you comment a little bit on the direction we're headed on that and that appropriate balance moving forward?
So, you know, the FAA is looking at regulations of having folks register, drone users register. One of my approaches, quite frankly, has been when I was in Silicon Valley a couple weeks ago, was to talk to some of the manufacturing community and say, you know, you really need to get involved in these discussions because it's important. There's a tremendous trade-off between the commerce potential for these devices as well as the threat. And so I've been personally engaged with some of the manufacturing community of drones to understand their potential capabilities going forward, as well as to get their input into what makes sense in terms of counter-drone technologies as well as some policy issues as well.
And when do you anticipate, are you working actively with the FAA on their new house?
We are.
And when do you anticipate that will be ready to go?
I can't tell. I do not know. I cannot tell you that. That's something that I think is still a work in progress.
Another issue that we discussed last week in this committee was the issue of cybersecurity. And in looking at your particular department, in investing appropriately in research and development programs that will address rising security concerns as it relates to cybersecurity, can you comment on that a little bit?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah. We had a hearing last week on cybersecurity in specifically involving power systems and some of the issues related there. In looking at the threats that are out there, in looking at your department and specifically with research and development, can you comment on how your department's addressing that?
I can. We've put a focus on cyber physical systems, which one instantiation of a cyber physical system is a SCADA system. Control system for, let's say, power plants, these kinds of things. I think this is an area of increasing concern, and we're working with our partners at Infrastructure Protection over at MPVD as well. So we are putting together a program to address the threats to not just the power grid, but also the financial sector and the other critical infrastructure sectors as well.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.